Hey guys, what's up? We're here with another YouTube video. Today we're going to break down 5 different dribbling exercises that you can do to improve your control in a tight space. A lot of players out there, they struggle with keeping the ball controlled in a small area. So I have an easy setup for you. You don't necessarily need more than these cones. So 5-6 cones is enough just for us to have our changes of direction and be able to turn quickly and get our touches on the ball. The focus is going to be getting a lot of touches on the ball. We really want to work on being able to change direction quickly in a tight space, because a lot of times in the game, it's the small reduced spaces that players struggle with because number one, they're not quick enough. And then number two, they struggle with getting out of the space. So I'll show you guys different skill moves that you can use to get out of those tight situations and exactly how to train that so your training can go and progress into an actual game situation. The first exercise is the same setup. I'm gonna have these cones set up apart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to keep around 5 feet of distance in between each cone, and they're going to be diagonal, right? So we don't want to go straight, we want to go to the right and then to the left, so that way we can mirror an actual game situation where you have to go towards the right side or go towards the left side. The first skill is going to be the V pull. I like using this one a lot. Our focus in between the cones is getting a lot of touches or staying under control in a tight space. So I'm going to go V pull here. When I get to the cone, I'm going to pull it, step on it with my right foot, and then push it with the outside of my left, so that way I can change direction. As I approach the next cone, same thing. I'm going to go left pull and then push out to my right. Once I get to the other side, same idea. I'm going right pull, push out to my left. And then once I do the last one, V pull with the left, push out to my right. I'm going to try to explode out into that space. So the idea is I want to catch a rhythm, make sure I'm keeping my touches under control in the tight space, so that way I can work on doing the V pull and then changing direction from right to left and left to right. One of the things that I want you guys to focus on is approach it using the correct part of the foot. So as I dribble with my right foot, I'm going toe down, basically the pinky toe, and I'm pushing. As I approach, now I'm able to pull and then push that ball out into space. The same with the left, push out to right, and then same right, push out to left, and then left, push out to my right side. As soon as I start catching the rhythm, I could jump and then push out into space. Meaning when I step on the ball with the sole of my foot, I'm basically going to hop to change direction and then be able to push out with my right foot into that space. That's gonna allow me to really be able to change direction quickly and get out of the space, so that way I can explode. When I teach them this, they struggle to catch more speed, but one thing I always focus is letting them try it first and then adding in that hop, right? So as soon as I step on the ball with one foot and I want to switch it, as I pull it, I jump, so that way as I land, I'm able to explode off with my other foot. So the moment when I do this, I want to keep myself balanced, basically make my core tight, so that way as I step and I balance on one foot, I'm able to explode out with the other foot. So I pull and I push out, pull, hop, and I push out, and that's going to allow me to change direction and get out into space quickly. Okay, next one's going to be the L turn. So I still want to do the same movement. I go to the same cone. I'm going to step on the ball, but instead of pulling the ball in front of me and pushing out into the space, I'm going to pull the ball behind me. So I always teach 3 different steps on this one. Number 1 is I want to keep my opposite foot planted. I want to put my foot on top of the ball. Number 2 is I want to pull the ball in behind me. And then number 3 is I want to push it with the inside of my big toe behind my leg to go out into that space. Okay, so I'll show you guys that one again and before we move on to the left foot. So I go step on it, I pull it, and then I push it. It's gonna take me to my left side now. So now I gotta repeat it with my left foot, step on it with my left, right foot is somewhere near so I can have balance and control. I pull it with the bottom, and then with the inside of my big toe, I'm pushing it across into that space and switching off from left to right, now right to left. I want to repeat it and I want to push out into the space. Now, one of the mistakes that players make is they want to go too quick. Remember, I told you we have 3 steps on this one. Step number 1 is going to be stepping on the ball. Number 2 is the pull, and then number 3 is the push. Second thing is right there, when players do that pull, they want to do this one and the third one together. So it doesn't allow them to change direction efficiently. What we want to do is pull the ball, let the ball go, and then swing our leg so that way we get that motion. And look, even if I took a small touch, because of my movement, I'm able to get the touch out into space because I'm generating power on my swing. So that way I can change direction. And this really allows you to practice that tight space control because we're moving direction quickly and we're using a different part of our foot and we're making our body move in a different way than how we did with the V-pull. So we also really want to focus on keeping that ball under control so that way when I do push it out, I'm able to control it for at least 1 or 2 seconds before I do my move so that way I can change direction. Now the next one, guys, we're going to add in the Pedri turn or the U-turn. I like using this one a lot and I like showing the players because it allows you to get around the defender, protecting the ball with the outside of your foot and then being able to change direction quickly. So, like I said, these cones, we want to imagine like there's defenders, especially on this one. Pedri, one of the best players right now, one of the best midfielders at the moment, is very good at turning with his body. He's able to protect. So if he's going to turn with his right foot, he's good at protecting the ball with his left foot and his left arm, so that way he can change direction and get away from players. So in this case, we're dribbling. My direction is going this way to the right side, and I want to pivot. I basically want to change direction and go out this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my left foot in between. I'm going to use the outside of my right foot, and the idea is I want to pivot and turn that way with my outside of my right. So I'm going to go touch, touch, turn, and now I'm able to switch it to my left foot. So the idea is we want to use around 3 to 4 touches when we're turning. So as I go forward here, right, I'm going to take 1, 2, third one is going to allow me to already turn to the other side. Now I'm going to go with my right. So as I attack and I get in front of it, 1, 2, 3, go forward now with my left foot, 1, 2, 3, and I can explode out into that space. And these touches, they're kind of hard to turn and pivot because we're not doing like a sharp turn. So we want to focus on is getting low with our body. So we want to lower our hips and bend our knees. So as I start approaching, notice how my shoulders are up here. I want you guys to start getting low. So because I'm gonna turn and pivot. So the lower we get, the lower our center of gravity, we're gonna be able to explode out into that space at a much faster rate. So as I sit low, I go 1, and then second one, 2, and then the third one, and I explode out. But now, look, my shoulders are back to normal because I'm gonna take the space. As I approach the cone, I get low, 1, 2, 3, I get up, and now I sit low, 1, 2, 3, and I sit up, then get low, 1, 2, 3, explode out with my right foot. One thing I want you guys to imagine with all these skills is it's not just how we do the skill, but it's how our body adapts to the move that we're making, right? So whether it's the V-pull, the L-turn, the outside turn, or the next one that we're gonna show, we really wanna change our body positioning, change our body language and how we approach the skill because it's gonna make the skill a lot easier, okay? So when it comes to this one, I really wanna sit low, I really wanna be able to explode out, and I really wanna be able to control the ball, okay? So like I said, it's 3 touches. We really want to focus on sitting low, exploding out, and making sure that we keep the ball under control in this tight space. Because it is 5 feet, it's very little minimal space. We don't have any room for error, right? We really have to focus on keeping that control and being able to turn and change direction on the defender. So as I approach, I sit low, boom, explode out. Then the next one, sit low, sit low, sit low, sit low. 1, 2, 3, sit low so that way I can explode, change direction, and I exit in this tight space. Because it is 5 feet, it's very little minimal space. We don't have any room for error, right? We really have to focus on keeping that control and being able to turn and change direction on the defender. So as I approach, I sit low, boom, explode out. Then the next one, sit low, sit low, sit low, sit low. 1, 2, 3, sit low so that way I can explode, change direction, and I exit. Fourth skill here, we're going to do the Croeta turn. This is a good one that is going to allow us to fake the space and be able to change direction quickly because we want to imagine on this one that we're going to give like a fake shot or a fake pass because if we're in a tight space, we have to understand that we have very, very minimal room. And so one thing that helps us is to be able to make the defender think we're going somewhere else and going and turning the other way. And some of the top players in the world use this because a lot of players, let's say if I'm driving to the right side or if I'm attacking over here, and I get my eyes up and I make it look like I'm gonna give the pass there, especially in a tight area, in a tight situation, a lot of times the defenders will try to reach and try to cut off that passing lane. And then that's gonna allow us the opportunity to get out of that space and change direction. Pay close attention to a lot of the top defenders, top midfielders in the game. They really do this a lot because a lot of the, midfielders and attackers, they want to cut off that passing lane. And so it's easy to like fake going one way, which you do have the option, and then turn and go out the other side. And that's going to allow us to explode and get out in this tight situation. So we want to fake, we want to get our eyes up, start using our arms, really pushing the ball out into space behind us so that way we can move on to the next one. So I dribble with my right, I get my eyes up, I let the ball run a little bit. Now it makes it look like I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to go plant, go Croeta turn in behind, go take that space. Now I'm going to use my left foot. So I attack taking that space, let it run a little bit, fake like I'm going forward, and then Croeta turn in behind. Really, really helpful skill move here. I want to make sure I want to push it out so that way you can run onto it. Eyes up, boom, fake. So that Croeta turn, make sure it goes out into space, and then we turn. Same thing. Once I get to the cone, out of the space, eyes up, we turn, change direction, and I exit. One of the main ideas on this one, guys, is going to be our planting foot. It really, really helps, and are getting our eyes up, because this is what's gonna sell the move, right? So eyes up, what I like to do, how I learned to do this very, very well, is to actually pick an object. So instead of just getting our eyes up, I can look at a tree, an actual teammate, maybe a line, maybe the other goal on the other side, or maybe an actual player from the other team, just so that way my eyes lock onto something and it makes it realistic as if I'm actually going to play that pass there. Second thing is going to be my planting foot. So when I plant, I don't want to just like do like a whatever plant. I want to make it look like I'm actually going to send the ball with some power. So when I do it, it looks like if I'm hopping and I'm rotating my body. Okay, so if I add all that in and I really add that twist and that turn, it makes it a lot more realistic. And my step is not just a small step, right? I'm adding in that full movement. So as soon as I land with my right, boom, throwing my left foot to make it look like I'm gonna shoot it with power. And then inside of my big toe, my toe is pointed down to the ground. I wanna basically flick that ball out into that space. So as soon as I do it with my right foot, so I'm pushing it out, eyes up, add the step, like I'm gonna shoot it into space, same with my left foot, eyes up, plant my right, inside big toe of my left to get it out of my feet, same idea, pushing it out. Eyes up, fake, pushing it out, and I turn it and change direction, speed up. All right, guys, now, so the last one that we're going to show you is going to be the Iniesta, or a lot of people like to call it la Croeta. I call it the Iniesta just because one of the best players I've seen was very good at this in a tight space. Okay, so it's very important for you guys watching. Also, make sure you're looking at players that are playing your position, that have mastered their position and the game, specifically for certain situations that you want to get better at, right? If you want to be a better striker, look at the top strikers of the game. You want to be a better defender, look at the top defenders of the game. You want to see if somebody is good at tight space dribbling, look for the players that are very, very good at tight space dribbling and mimic what they do. So the Iniesta here, very simple. This is now a skill that's going to allow us to take the space going forward, or basically control it in a tight space. Not necessarily a skill to like change direction and go one way and exit the other, but it's a move that will help us keep the ball and even allow us to attack going forward. So again, I want to keep that ball under control. This one here, I want you to imagine it's like a bell. So I want to plant my left foot next to the ball, because I'm going to use my left. My right foot, same as well. And I want to keep the ball underneath me, right? So that's going to allow me to pivot and get out of the space, having the ball under control. So I'm going to use the inside of my left, and as I approach the cone, I'm going to shift it to my right foot. And with the inside of my right is going to allow me to go forward and keep the ball under control, so that way I can go to the next one. So the idea is same here with my right foot. I'm going to use the inside of my right, shift it across the inside of my left, so that way I can go forward. I'm going to take the space now, do the same with my left, inside right, I push forward and I attack. I go forward here, attack the space, inside right, inside left, and I attack going forward. All right, so the idea, guys, on this is I want to catch a rhythm with my movement, and I really want to focus on keeping that ball under control. And the way I do that is having the ball close to my foot. It has to be underneath you when you do it, because that's going to allow me to essentially do what is called a bell, so that way I can keep the ball underneath me and traveling going forward. Again, under control, plant, shift, push. Plant, shift, push. And I go forward. Plant, shift, push. One of the best things to honestly focus on here is making sure I still keep that ball under control, because one of the mistakes players will make is they'll do the inside and that ball will run away from them. Or they'll use the inside of the foot and their second touch will be going far away, meaning they'll go here and the touch will go far away from them, right? And that's not gonna help us keep the ball under control in a tight space. I always like to tell players in their mind, can you change direction? Can you give a pass? Can you give a shot? As soon as you take that second touch. And one of the mental notes that I've made for me and for myself when I've done this skill is, as soon as I take the inside touch with my second one, I should be immediately able to take a third touch right away, because that's how I know I've kept that ball under control. So as I go here and I attack and I shift, left to right, I dribble, right to left and I shift, left to right and I shift, and then right to left as I shift, is I'm making sure I'm able to control that ball. Now, one more tip for you guys is going to be allowing yourself and your body to get in and out of tight spaces. So that's why I like using these tight space exercises and going diagonally, because I'm not just working on the ball, but I'm working on my body movement. So one of the things I want you guys to focus on specifically on this skill, and it's one thing that's helped a lot of players, is not to be so stiff, because then they won't be able to attack the space. What I make them do is, instead of like just pushing the ball across, I'm focusing on stepping to the side in a shuffle. You could add a little bit of a jump as well. So instead of just staying here, I want to focus on jumping as far as I can and keeping that ball under control. So as I go left foot push, I'm stepping across with my right and I'm taking a bigger step, so that way I can end up far away from the defender. Okay, and that helps a lot as a mental note to have, because you also have to understand we have to get out of that space with our body and the ball at the same time. So if I go with my right, bigger step with my left. And because these are cone drills, again, we're practicing, it's still kind of helping us mimic an actual defender. But when we add in those extra steps and getting away from the actual player, this is going to be a lot more realistic, because we're allowing ourselves to get into a different space and get away from the defender. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Those are 5 exercises that are going to help you with your tight space control and being able to change direction quickly, so that way you can develop into the type of player that can break down defenses and get out of pressure. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, or subscribe to my channel if you like videos just like this. Also, my program's down below. If you want to train with me in person as well, program's down below. We'll see you guys on the field.